part we'll talk about glands. So, what are glands? Glands are basically a collection of cells. They are a collection of cells. They can be unicellular or multicellular, but they're collection of cells which are secretory in function. So, which are secretory in function or in nature. Now, these secretions can be hormones, enzymes, mucus, water, or anything. Now, we'll classify glands on different bases. We'll take up the first basis. It is on the basis of the type of cells they have. So, or type, not type of cells, but the number of cells. The first type of gland is on the basis of the number of cells is called unicellular glands. And the next one is called multicellular. Unicellular glands are made up of only a single cell. So example we can take as goblet glands, and these are the glands which secrete mucus and are present in our alimentary canal in the gastric glands. We can also call them as gastric cells because since they are made up of a single cell, we can call them goblet cells or goblet glands. Next, multicellular. These are example we can take as salivary glands. Salivary glands. We can also take as example as liver. Salivary glands, they are multicellular. They secrete saliva, and saliva consists of a very important enzyme called salivary amylase. This is the classification of glands on the basis of the number of cells they have. Next is on the type of secretion. Type of secretion. What kind of secretion they secrete. So this is on the basis of the type of the secretion. The first one is called as serous. The next one is called as mucus, and the next one is called as the sebaceous glands. So serous glands, mucus glands, and sebaceous glands. Serous glands, the secretion is more watery and it consists of more proteins and enzymes. So this is serous glands. Examples of serous glands we can take as salivary glands again. And salivary glands secrete saliva and it contains salivary amylase, which is an enzyme. Next, mucus. These glands secrete mucus as the name suggests, and example is again goblet glands or goblet cells. And sebaceous glands, these are the oil glands and they secrete oil. So oil glands. Now let us take the next basis of classification. It is on the mode of secretion. What is the mode of secretion? They secrete the enzymes or hormones or whatever. So the first one is called as holocrine mode of secretion. Holocrine. The next one is called as merocrine or merocrine. The next one is called as apocrine. So holocrine enzymes, these in this type of mode of secretion, the whole cell or the whole gland ruptures and releases its secretion. So examples of holocrine mode of secretion are type of secretion are the sebaceous glands or oil glands. Oil or sebaceous glands. In this type of secretion, the whole cell or the gland ruptures and it releases its secretion. Oil glands or sebaceous glands is an example. Merocrine mode of secretion. In this type of secretion, it is by here the cell won't rupture or the gland won't rupture. Only it releases its secretion by diffusion. That means here cell is not rupturing. So there is no cytoplasmic content coming out. So examples are salivary glands and also sweat glands. Now in sweat glands, there are some parts of sweat gland where it is apocrine. We will see that now. So in apocrine mode of secretion, just the tip of the cell or the gland ruptures and releases its secretion. So apex or apo means at the tip. So just at the tip of the gland or the cell, the cell or the gland it ruptures and releases its secretion. Examples of apocrine type of secretion are sweat glands. Again, so the same thing. Now, when the sweat is released from the sweat glands, when we use a napkin or a handkerchief, we don't see any color or anything. It just remains white. So if you use a white napkin or a white handkerchief, it just remains white. Why? Because here the merocrine means it's only by diffusion. It's not, the cell is not rupturing and the cytoplasmic content is not coming out. So we see our napkin as white color only. But whereas here sweat glands of armpits or groin areas. So in armpits, in this case the sweat is released and the sweat is in yellow color. So some part of cytoplasmic content is released here because it's apocrine. Just the tip is rupturing and releasing its secretion. So in some parts of the sweat glands we find it as apocrine, and some parts we find it as merocrine type of secretion. So this is the mode of secretion: holocrine, merocrine and apocrine. Next we'll take up a few more bases of this types of these glands. So the fourth basis of this classification of glands is on the presence or absence of the ducts or the tubes. So the first type of gland here is exocrine. The second one is endocrine, and the third one is heterocrine. So in exocrine kind of glands, here in this case there are glands. That means they have ducts. Example of this kind of glands are salivary glands. So in salivary glands we have parotid salivary gland, we have submandibular or submaxillary salivary gland, we also have sublingual gland. For parotid gland we have the Stensen's duct. In submandibular gland or submaxillary gland we have the Wharton's duct, and in the sublingual gland we have the duct of Fribnus or the Bartholin's duct. So we have all the ducts in the salivary glands. That means exocrine, these are duct, they have ducts. Whereas in endocrine glands, here they are ductless. That means they don't have ducts. So examples are like pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, hypothalamus, etc. These are all the glands of the endocrine system. So these are endocrine glands. They are ductless. Coming to heterocrine, as the name suggests, hetero means like both. So examples of this kind of glands are pancreas. That means some part of the gland have ducts, some part of the gland is ductless. So pancreas come under heterocline glands. So if we see the next basis of classification, this is on the basis of on the shape, like on the basis of the shape of the gland. The first one is called as tubular glands. So on the basis of the shape, the first one is tubular glands. The next one is alveolar or saccular glands. So alveolar or saccular glands and tubular glands. In tubular glands, the gland is like this. So it's a tube shape. So if we draw this, it somewhat looks like this. So it is tube shape. It's like this. So we have our cells here, the cells surrounding the glands. So these are the tubular glands. The cells are tube shaped. Coming to alveolar or saccular glands. In this case, as the name suggests, alveoli or sac. That means they are sac shaped. So they are like this. They look like alveoli. Again, we have the cells. These are actually the epithelial cells, which form the lining or the covering of the ducts and the tubes. So this is the alveolar or saccular glands. These are the tubular and these are the alveolar or saccular glands. So this is on the basis of the shape. This is the total explanation of the types of the glands. Now the important information that we need to know about glands are: the largest gland in human body is liver. So liver is the largest gland or organ as well. Liver is actually an organ and it's also a gland. It secretes bile juice, and it's important to note that bile juice doesn't contain any enzyme. It just contains bile pigments, bile salts, mucus, or any other things. It doesn't contain enzymes. The largest gland is liver. Coming to smallest gland. The smallest gland is the pineal gland. So it's the pineal gland and it is the part of the endocrine system. It secretes melatonin. It's a hormone actually. Pineal gland secretes melatonin, and this melatonin hormone just affects us how we sleep, how we wake up, and how we react to seasonal changes. So this is the smallest gland, which is pineal gland. Largest gland is liver. This is just an important information to know about glands.